Quiet on the set.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take one.
Action!
Here we go, AKAPADers. Eenie Meanie. Before we talk about this flick, I want to welcome you back. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here, I just want to remind you guys, this is the longest running, most comprehensive movie podcast on planet Earth today, on any platform. We do one movie per show. We do single topics. What I do not do is marathon sessions every single day where I'm forced to talk, speak of sponsors, shill, give uninformed opinions, and basically sit there in front of a microphone because I have to, because the clock is running. I don't want you to wait for a topic. The topics are the episodes. If you don't like this topic, scroll within the feed until you find something that hits you. We do about 2 drops a day, and that is the AKAPAD Film Buff podcast. With that, we have a movie here that is, this is why we do what we do. This is why we love it. The nature of how I discovered Eenie Meanie. 2025. Well, do you guys remember? Because I'm going to make a comparison here. Do you guys remember what it was like before Amazon and eBay? I mean, just for a quick example, I'm watching Quiz Show, and I'm researching Van Buren books, because in the beginning of that book, the father is signing books. And I said to myself, I need that book. I just need to know what it is. I need to find it. I need to order it. And I'm able to. I'm able to get that book. I'm able to get his Shakespeare book. I think it's called The Noble Voices. But he also wrote an essay Shakespeare book that I really am curious of. But I'm able to get this. But at one time, if you didn't live near a Borders or a Barnes & Noble, I was lucky enough to have 3 of them, all within driving distance when I was growing up. I would treat them as libraries, treat them as workstations. I would go there, sketch, draw a lot. There was one in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I believe Borders near what used to be the Olga's Circle. And if you guys don't know, I'm coming to you from Philadelphia, PA, grew up in Jersey. I would meet girls. I would meet girls from these bookstores. But anything I was of interest in, anything I was researching, if they didn't have it on the shelf, I could order it. Some of them, I could wait the game, see if they showed up on the discount rack. And at one time, I built a massive art book library just from that, never paying retail. Amazon comes along, and holy, like, what a game changer when it comes to discovering books. So it's hard to imagine in some areas the only real bookstore they may have or had was called Walden Books. And even there, like, we had those in my local mall. So I was very spoiled. But I know there's people throughout the rest of the country and even the world that just don't have that. And you could always special order. And sometimes you pay through the nose. I mean, I remember just spending like almost all my paycheck sometimes just on books. I didn't care. I still don't. So there was a time when it comes to film consumption that you have to check the newspapers, maybe buy Premiere Magazine, subscribe. I subscribed to Entertainment Weekly and had just boxes of it. My sister bought me that one year for my birthday. And I think she just kept that subscription going for about 2 years. Just endless. And then you would have to go to Barnes and Noble, maybe get the Hollywood Reporter from time to time, maybe get Variety from time to time. But you never had full access, and the internet wasn't quite the internet yet. But to track new movies coming out, to discover new films, and then hopefully you guys see how this comparison is unfolding. You would just have to spend the money and spend the time and have resources to know what was what. And you prayed to God that the good movies would become popular enough for you to know about, so that you would know about a good movie. I do feel like 90s blockbusters changed that. I mean, really since 89 Batman. That got corrupted. But you would have to do a lot of work to know what was there. You would have to spend a lot of time in VHS stores. Like a lot. And again, I was blessed. I had so many VHS stores. Just I would pick them off the racks and just memorize the credits. So we live in an age where Eenie Meanie literally comes out of nowhere. Out of the thin air, it's available on my Hulu. And we're all better for it. We're better film goers. We're better fans. We're better cinephiles. We're just better because this movie's here. It didn't come with a giant trailer. I mean, I think there's major stars attached, but I'm a film buff. But I know you, the normie out there, it's full of nobodies. Sean Simmons, that's a name you don't know. He's the writer-director. He's so much of a writer when he directs his script, you see the writing. You just see it. That's one of the weird things that happens when a film just clicks. And you literally see the story. And I don't mean about the moving images. So we live in a time where fantastic, great movies come out of the ether and shake their asses in front of our face. Isn't that crazy? It's very similar. I mean, books are so prevalent today, but they weren't. They weren't when I was growing up. There was a barrier to entry there. And film consumption, and we're so spoiled by this. And these are, excuse me.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production,
Let
take
me
2.
cut in. Sorry, AKAPADers. I know it's such a hot, passionate episode, but I'm breaking the flow real quick just to remind you guys. If you want to support me, one of the best, easiest, and free ways to do it, leave a comment. Give me a like. I know there's someone out there that you know that loves film as much as I do, that love the film industry as much as I. Show this to them. Comments, likes, and reviews, positive or negative, it doesn't matter. We need to increase our reach, and to do that requires you. Your involvement in everything that I do. We're linked. We're forever bound. You're the membrane, I'm the muscle. So guys, let's just do it. One review. Do you have it in you? Okay, back to the show. And these are the type of films that make streaming incredible. And it never really was. Like, the film going experience was never Independence Day or the new Avengers movie. Like, that's not the film going experience. So the film going experience is, just for example, like Sebastian Stan. He's in 2 Oscar-worthy movies in a single year between his superhero movies. One of them we haven't done yet, The Apprentice, the Donald Trump movie. Which I guess, like, as time goes on, I'm more and more curious about that one. Or Christopher Nolan, right? Making movies between Batman, so he can keep the crew together, keep everyone at work. I think that's where we got The Prestige, right? And you watch The Prestige, and you're almost like just in awe. Again, like a very similar experience where you watch The Prestige and you see the story. It's just there. It's like you can almost like reach out with your hand and grab it. But along the way, right? Like, we'll get movies like Troy. We got Brad Pitt this year in F1. And these are fantastic experiences. They sometimes they transform you. But then we get something like Eenie Meanie, and it runs as a play. And I think that's one of the highest compliments I can give films like this. And what the heck is the movie? What is this movie? Well, it's tough. It's tough. Like, what do I do when I'm in this position? Do I tell you about the plot? And for me, discovering the plot, discovering the girl in this, played by Samara Weaving. She plays Eddie. Carl Glussman. This is John. This is our it's such a lovable loser. Maybe it's the most incredible lovable loser in modern cinema. We got Andy Garcia. He plays a crime boss. So it's, as the Wikipedia description says, heist comedy thriller. But this movie runs deeper than that. The performances are there. They stick to you. I think this is the absolute coming of Samara Weaving. Now, some of you might say, well, wasn't that Ready or Not? 2019, we did that for the 31 Days of Dread. Yeah, maybe. She's also in this other movie that we have coming called Borderline. That absolutely threw me away. Previously, we watched her in Azrael, one of the best horror movies of 2024. Wild thing, Azrael didn't make the 31 Days of Dread. We loved her in Scream. She's the one true Scarlet. Snake Eyes. I think a lot of you may have discovered her in Bill and Ted's Face the Music. She's also in Babysitter Killer Queen. We loved both of those movies from Netflix. But she's got a film career. TV, television, music videos. It goes on and on. She's one of the premier talents. Carl Glussman. The Glusser. He's upcoming Running Man. We see him in Civil War. Civil War, one of the most underrated movies of 2024. Reptile, we spoke about him in Reptile. from Netflix, by the way. Bike Riders. Not too crazy about that movie, but we did like. Well, it's a complete movie. We'll call it that. Watcher, Greyhound. I gotta bring you guys Greyhound too, by the way. Nocturnal Animals, and that's really where, right? Nocturnal Animals and a Neon Demon 2016. So this guy isn't working enough. I think this is a breakout performance because you feel for the character so much. So the movie gives you a dig, it gives you a swerve, it starts a certain way. I don't want to spoil it. I really don't. I think discovering and just seeing the layers of this movie, seeing the layers of the story, I think is a part of the fun. We have a big shout out to Sean for giving us some incredible modern day car sequences. Worthy, dare I say, worthy of Ronin, worthy of Bullet. And it's funny, I have to say, it's when you talk about car chases, you have to talk about Bullet. I don't know. For me, it's Nicolas Cage gone in 60 seconds. Greatest car chase scenes ever. But no, top tier action with the vehicle. This is a movie where you know things are going to happen. You don't want them to happen. Eddie, the girl, I mean, you love her so much. You just want her to get a break. You see her get the break. It comes with a price. You're okay with that. I mean, it's, again, a movie that movies are supposed to capture you and transform you through the film-going experience. And that's what Eenie Meanie does. It's on Hulu. It dropped August 22nd. I'm speaking to you the night of watching it. Probably by the time you guys get this, I will have watched it multiple times. I think this movie is a absolute definition of the time. These are the movies we want for streaming. These are the movies that the filmmakers or the runners, the data that runs the streaming apps should be targeting. The budget's great. If it is true, at $50 million, fantastic. There's very little you can add to this movie. There really is. And by very little, I mean, like there's some characters that maybe we wanted to know a little bit more of. we will say that. And, and guys, this movie also has Marshawn Lynch. I forgot to tell you that. Marshawn Lynch is in this movie. When he was on screen, I had to look him up. Randall Park plays a guy in the box, plays a card counter. You want a little bit more of his character, and this is where you have to have an eye, because I would say Marshawn Lynch and Randall have cutscenes, because they lay on what the elements of their character are, like, really quick. And like it's just like it's almost like character building, dialogue, exposition, blah 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 type stuff. But it just seems like there's meat on the bone, and this is a little bit of like I said, like what happens when you see a story unfold. For it to be so rich in some areas, there needs to be meat on the bone. So guys, when you can, check out this movie. This is why we subscribe to every single streaming service possible. I am grateful that this movie came up, and when it came up, I had the time to press play.
Roll sound.
Rolling.
Sound production, take 2.
Let's take this time real quick, AKAPADers, my fellow film buffers, and let's just go over the schedule. This is years in the making. This type of rollout I've been planning for years, but we're finally here. So here we go. Early in the morning, that's the new stuff. 8 a.m. Now, 8 p.m., Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, these are movies maybe of something coming out, like if there's a Marvel movie coming out and we want to do a retrospective on that particular franchise, or if Sylvester Stallone comes back and gives us Rocky Part 18, we might want to use the later time slots for a week or two to go over all of the Rocky movies. Now, we have a lot of different threads on this podcast that's explored 8 p.m. So 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., this is our creator spotlight. We could do an episode on Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, some of the new guys, Spike Lee, even composers, guys like John Williams. This brings us into the weekend. Saturday, Sunday morning. Again, we're back at that 8 a.m. drop. We do cartoons because I want to emulate the times where you would wake up with a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and then eventually you would get to touch grass because you would have one of your friends knocking on your door to play in a touch football game or even some baseball, basketball. The weekend nights, let's get into education. 8 p.m. Again, all of our drops are either 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. But the weekend nights, documentaries, and I focus on creative documentaries because I feel like a part of this film buff movement that we're all bathing in, that I'm super grateful for, is education. And some of where we're finding our facts, some of the, general enjoyment, because I love documentaries. All of this is explored at 8 o'clock p.m. And trust me, there's a lot there. There's a lot out there that I didn't even know existed. And we're going to go beyond that too. We're going to get into some of the graphic art, some of the special effects, some of the makeup documentaries. There's a lot to learn, and I'm so happy to bring you the 9 p.m. because you guys know I'm an autodidact. I am self-educated. Sure, I have some certifications. Sure, I spend time at the Art Institute of Philadelphia for animation. But in large, I'm a self-educated, self-made person that's connected to the weekend 8 p.m. drops. My AKAPADers, my film buffers, I hope to see you there for all of it. I love you guys, and rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.